on top of all that, on top of all the law, the uneasy feelings, there's a section within here that doesn't logically make any sense to me. And there may be some others who can relate, and I hope to help you understand what I mean here. And it starts from a lesson I learned around the age of 3. I've always been in the garden with my dad, and if you look on one of the back pages, there's a picture of me holding some of the harvest of our labor, some of the fruits. And something my dad taught me through this art and the frustrations of gardening. One was I was taught how to prepare the soil, to place each seed, to cover each seed, and to water it in gently with a back and forth motion so as not to just blast the seed out of the ground. That's the first lesson I remember from about the age of 3. After all that work is done, I'm sure any of those who have ever experienced gardening, tried gardening, who do garden, or know someone who does, has heard the stories of the war against the weeds. It's something we all go through in a garden. And so I was taught how to tell the difference between a weed and a fruit-bearing plant. That was, the first step. And B, to rip it out of the ground, to get it out of there, to keep the garden clean. So with those lessons in my head, when I hear Jesus say, "Don't pull the weeds," here's what I would say to Jesus. Hey, buddy, that's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're tired. I don't think you've eaten in a few hours or so, maybe a day. Let's get some rest and come back and start again tomorrow. So that's the second lesson that I hope to have folks take home today, is that it's okay to be honest with God. It's okay to be honest with Christ, to speak openly and honestly about what is on our heart and what's on our mind. I feel that God wants us to communicate in this way, with our joys, with our hardships, and with life in general. Do not be afraid, as our psalm sang this morning. Just do it. So that's my analytical gardening side, looking at this text. My theological brain, though, when dealing with this text, tells me to listen and analyze extremely carefully, that just a brief read-through, a one-time read-through, is not going to be sufficient. Because anytime Jesus